Luxuria, Gula, Aurelitia, Acedia, Ira, Invidia, Superbia. Every person in this world carries these things around inside of them to some extent. People call me Itward. I'm the guy who keeps you guys in check. You don't listen to me. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you are. I've already helped you more than anyone else. I've laid out breadcrumbs for you to find, but you're either too stupid or too stubborn to give them any more thought.
And so far, from what I can tell, the only breadcrumb is this: that you are guilty of something.
Why don't you try to use some good crumbs? Maybe that'll help. I just don't know. I haven't felt this way with anything like with you before. Like, sure, you may go on and like you may be kind of like hard to figure out sometimes, but really, like, what I have for you, that's love, man. Like, I know I'm coming across as, you know, goofy, but that's love. I just really wish I knew what the hell you have to do with this whole 7 sins bullshit. What the fuck do you have to do with anything? So here we are again, my very own personal hell in furry form. Really, revisiting this shit, I suddenly remember why I was so mad that I said I hated all furry comics out there. Hatred for something can make you do dumb stuff, and boy do I fucking hate this thing. Calling it a webcomic would be glorifying Sonichu, Jack and Angel Corp. So before my little mental breakdown, Sarah was snatching Digits home. This seems to have turned off all the lights in the place. I can only assume that from what Miles says here, because it's not like Cello bothered actually making things much darker than before, or show it in any other way. Miles catches Sarah red-handed and Dinajin zaps him with what they refer to as suggestion.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Having studied mentalism, I know that that's not suggestion. Having read a D&D book for more than 2 minutes, I know too that that is not suggestion. Suggestion doesn't just make you hallucinate and stand there gawking like you're having some kind of stupid wet dream. Suggestion is when you affect a person into doing something that might be a little out of bounds of what they would normally do. Like, had they had Miles cover his eyes or go browse porn instead, then that would have been fine. And if you had this power, why didn't you just use it on anyone to get rid of Digit? And when the fuck have you been able to use magic in the first place?
If you could do all that, what the fuck was the point with all the drama up to this point?
Oh shit, I'd forgotten how these guys think that they know how to crosscut, and we are now seeing Minos explaining how the reason he didn't get hooked up with Grace was because she was already engaged. In return for his story, he asks Rachel why she refuses to relax on the farm, and Rachel explains it's because they are on the run from Sarah's family, seeing they ran away when they were very young. Apparently so young that Sarah really didn't know what was happening, and Rachel basically kidnapped Sarah, but only to keep her safe. This is another one of those small nuggets of gold you can find in this pile of shit. This is really good. It shows Rachel caring so much for Sarah that she's willing to do a criminal act, yet lives with the choices she made, all for the sake of Sarah. It'd be nice if we had any explanation why she would go to this length for Sarah, but I guess we'll never know. And if you try and tell me we'll find out in one of the many side stories, I will cut you. A story needs to be working in its own form. You should never have to refer to another book, another movie, or another game for understanding. Sure, if it's a sequel, then the same rules don't apply. And sure, you can create a side thing for the sake of creating depth, but this is clearly something that's important to the lack of plot in this comic. Anyway, Rachel reveals her feelings for Minos. I know, what a shock. And Minos asks if he can paint Rachel while he thinks of his answer. It's not like he could have, gone somewhere else and fuck it over properly first or anything. Anyway, his reply... sorry, I must have accidentally clicked on one of those side stories. No, wait. This is the actual next strip? How? I guess if you look really closely, you can find this line of text here that would hint that Sarah is dashing by Taffy. But then again, why should this comic suddenly start to be better than something you'd find in the corners of Dave Chung's sketchbook? But never mind that, Itward and Randall fight and that's it. I can't possibly see how this strip is necessary at all, but then again, I could say the same thing about this entire comic. On the next page, Minos explains that he loves Mora and Rachel asks why.
That's a damn good question, and I'm going to ask it again. But louder!
Why indeed? My own hatred for these pair of tits with a sentient mind aside, what exactly does she have that makes Minos fall so head over heels for her? What has she done, despite insult and disappoint Minos over and over again? We've not even once seen her do anything nice for Minos. We've not even once seen her do something affectionate to Minos besides fucking him. And just why the hell did Minos come back to Mora in the first place? They don't have the same taste in something. They are clearly not on the level in the lines of thinking. Their priorities are complete polar opposites as well. Minos is always on and on about how he wants to give Mora a chance, which he constantly seems to blow. And if that is really all that has gotten him to be with Mora, does that mean he would have done the same thing with everyone else who would have declared her affection for him? And why the hell did he suddenly decide to kiss Mora way back when? The only thing that Mora had done up to that point was disappoint Minos, call him names, talk shit about the things she liked, and cried about the 2 thieves she let stay on her farm, tried to rob her. That's it! This basically boils down to Minos only being with Mora because of the question, why not? Which can easily be answered too. It's so obvious that the talentless writers just needed Mora and Minos to be together because that's how the story was originally written, and no one ever stopped up and asked why and how. Apparently, the writers didn't think that this was important at all.
But then again, we've already seen how little a fuck these people know about important plot points, so who gives a monkey, right?
Rachel is seemingly immediately cheered up from her kicking and screaming about how Mora is a total cunt when she sees Minos painting. Apparently she sees this as the perfect time to finally kiss Minos, mostly because Minos has been showering Rachel with all sorts of praise and sweet talking, and he doesn't exactly seem to be in any hurry to push Rachel away either. And wouldn't you know it, Mora sees it all. Now, this is interesting, right? I mean, how does Minos act? Does he push Rachel away, or does he go with it? Does he kiss her back? And how about Rachel? Does she keep going? Is it just a small peck on the lips? How does she react afterwards? Does she apologize for putting Minos in an awkward position? Or does she say something cute and adorable, like she'll wait for him? Because these are questions that would help you like the characters and give them potential depth. Let's just sweep that shit under the rug and move directly onto Mora confronting Rachel, explaining how she's fired as she sucker punches her in the face, and it's all like,
I'll kill that cat.
Gee, it's almost like it's a bad thing to date the people you're working with, isn't it? So Mora gives Rachel a whooping, going as far as to kneeing her in the stomach. No matter how you slice it, this cow is out for blood.
You're such a slut!
The next page is basically porn. No, seriously. It's an entire page where Rachel beats the shit out of Mora, explaining just how much of a Mary Sue she is, how ungrateful she is, and how everything is basically given to her. Heck, this page is so good that it kind of makes me give the writers the benefit of the doubt that they are fully aware of how shitty Mora is. That's of course until they cut away from it, going straight to Sarah, who's dumping Digit's router into the well.
This kind of sums up the entirety of Las Lindas. It's giving you this faint hope that it's getting good before it does a complete 180 and immediately makes you realize that no, this will not get good. This will stay shitty forever and ever.
We move on to Mora, who's straight up trying to do a power throw on Rachel, but she's immediately stopped when Digit appears looking weird. Apparently the router being thrown into water is causing Digit to lose control of everything electronic in the farm. So yanking it out of the wall didn't do anything, but throwing it in water had an effect. Sure, why not? Everything is going tits up and apparently they can't get the router up in time. How does Mora know this? And why is no one actually trying to fish it up with the water bucket that we are clearly seeing the rope for here? Obviously, instead of doing something productive like trying to put out fires or fetch the router, Mora instead asks Sarah why she did what she did. To which Sarah replies that the little green fairies lied to her and that they said Digit was an evil spirit.
At this point, they should really give Sarah one of those comfy shirts that makes you hug yourself all day. And a gag ball.
Also, why didn't you notice? You're clearly the person next to Mora who got along the best with Digit. Wasn't the whole reason with showing you hanging out with Digit back then to show you establishing a kind of camaraderie between you? Also, let's not mix words here. Sarah is more than just clinically mentally challenged. So why didn't anyone go, Yo, you see this? Don't fucking touch it! Anyway, Randall, Taffy and Itward all look at Sarah clearly thinking she's overstepped some boundaries in her complete and utter mental incompetence. And really, who can blame them? Rachel, proving to be the only character who is really worth a grain of salt, once again undresses and gets ready to hop in the well to fetch Digit's router, and Mora exclaims, "It's too deep! You can't just swim down, and if there's still power in it, it'll fry you!" Wow, these are a lot of obstacles that Rachel has to overcome here. This will be really exciting to see her.
Really, it's so important for you to get back to the boob shots that you can't just draw this sequence out a little.
Like, I know what you're trying to do here, and you're not doing it as bad as you would obviously have done at the beginning of this thing. You're showing Rachel's commendable effort and what is racing through her mind as she is clearly doing something dangerous for Sarah. You got a good thing here, so why the hell skip it? Show more of it, grow some tension, let us be in the mind of Rachel a little more. I swear, these writers are like a dog chasing cars. They don't know what to do with the drama when they finally have it. Anyway, Mora talks to Digit saying it'll all be fine now, but for whatever reason, Digit still dies.
Dang dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Dang dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Dang dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead.
I know, because these writers are so little dedicated to their story, and because they are outright stated that no lasting misfortune will ever befall Mora, that Digit will reappear again within long. But hell, gotta appreciate the small things. Also, really? This is the way you choose to show the death of Digit? With a shot that Cello clearly isn't experienced with doing? I mean, I know I've talked a lot of shit about Cello's art, but it's really this comic's only saving grace. I mean, the best summary of this comic I've read is actually just this one sentence. What? You're actually reading the words next to the boobs? And hey, Cello isn't such a bad artist. He's not good like many of the other artists I've had the honor of talking about on this show, but he's not bad either. What I'm getting at is that, really? This shot couldn't have been done differently? This isn't a good shot. Mora basically just looks like a bowling pin with tits here. I know she has wide hips, but surely not that wide. And where's her chin? Her head looks no different now than it would have if we saw it from straight ahead. Anyway, we see Mora clutching Digit's router really tight as we see these. Who the fuck is choking? Is Rachel choking from the deep dive? If so, shouldn't we be looking at her rather than Mora? Anyway, Mora is talking to herself, asking why everything is so hard.
Oh, fuck off!
I don't care if Mora solves world hunger or cures Ebola. I won't like this shit stain. I can't. Fuck her. She's ass. I mean, boo fucking who is shit hard? Hold on, let me find the world's smallest violin so I can cram it up your ungrateful, spoiled ass. Oh no, the thing that got given to you malfunctioned because you didn't pay attention to the mental retard that's lolling around on your farm and has done nothing but cause harm and cost you money. You really don't have anyone to blame but yourself. But of course, Digit's sister comes and tells Mora that Digit is stable and well and has recovered from the accident.
Not even 5 minutes have passed. Also, I'm just gonna throw a personal thought out there.
Death of a character is many times a subject that runs through many authors' minds when they're creating a story. Should they kill off a character or not? To me, killing off a character permanently shows that you're more dedicated to the story than you are to the fame of that character's popularity. Let me use Gurren Lagann as an example. Kamina dies, but not before you've gotten the impression that he's essential to the plot, is a main character, and that you've started to love the shit out of his persona. You, along with the protagonist Simone, has gotten nothing but respect and admiration for this character, and once he dies, you, along with Simone, starts to personally hate the enemy that did this to him. Not only that, but later on, this helps strengthening and making Simon more mature as he picks up the mantle from his big brother. Once he comes to terms with his brother's death and realizes that he has to step up to the plate that Kamina left for him, he's stronger than ever before. If we look at the shitty end of the spectrum, let's look at Bleach or Naruto that will rather go bankrupt before killing off their characters. You're never feeling any real threat, cause either everyone pulls through or they are resurrected with some poorly explained technique. And the people who do die are people who have just barely gotten introduced, which I refer to as sacrifice characters. These are basically the characters who comes in and shows you a picture of their family back home or has 2 days left till retirement before they get horribly murdered. Because you've established little to no connection with them, there's no impact, no lasting impression from their death. It just happens. What it boils down to is that, seriously, who gives a fuck about Digit? What does her death accomplish? Does it drive the plot forward? No. Then why? I hate to say it, but Digit's death is only here cause that's what these writers think is drama. And while the whole incident up to her death was dramatic, the plot of Digit dying is resolved in the very next page, leaving little to no impression on you.
I know, that was a lot to take in. I guess I just really want Digit to die or get corrupted with horse porn viruses.
And then there's this asshole.
Minos wants to talk things over with Mora, who explains to Minos how Rachel is in bed after swallowing a bunch of water, and Sarah is crying her eyes out cause something told her to do what she did. This is normally the point where you throw that bitch in an insane asylum, guys. Anyway, there's been a bunch of fire damage too, but the main thing keeping Mora from actually working is obviously her seeing Minos with Rachel. Minos explains how he was turning her down, but he was being selfish and hung on to the possibility of being with her. He further explains that he did want to be with Rachel and that he should have been firm with her. But what he should do and what he actually does are two widely different things, as this is never brought up again. And the whole thing ends with Mora easily forgiving Minos. That's it. There's no lasting repercussions from Minos' actions. Not even after having straight out said that he did try to get with Rachel.
I know I keep calling Mora a Mary Sue, and I will insist on her being that until my fucking grave. But Minos is an equally as big Gary Stew to Mora's Mary Sue. So I guess that's one thing these two have in common.
The next chapter begins with Mora and Taffy cleaning up the kitchen. They're talking about how awesome Mora is for not firing Rachel and that despite wanting to kick Sarah out, Mora keeps her on the farm cause she needs the help. Why, oh why don't you just find someone to take her place? It's not like you would have to do much of an actual effort to find someone better. In fact, I found someone. Let me introduce you.
Oh, you don't see him? Maybe because there's fucking no one over there!
Having no one instead of Sarah would literally be more efficient for the farm than keeping Sarah around. She's done more sabotage to the farm than benefited it. We've literally seen her cause more hijinks and heard it hinted at that she's actually causing shit more times than we've seen her do actual work. But alas, Mora needs help with the wiring of whatever this is, and Tara says she hasn't seen Miles for days now.
Oh crap, we forgot him still faced out in the basement. Oh, we don't forget another character in the basement. That would really show how shitty writers we are.
And we then cut to Miles, who is falling off a cliff.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the very next picture is just this. What the heck is Miles doing here? I guess if I take my brain out of my skull and try to put myself in the mindset of the people who actually enjoy this comic, I suppose this is because Miles is still under the influence of whatever spell was cast on him by Jin and Jin. And the only real reason why I'm thinking that is because he has the same dumb smirk on his face. If this is indeed the case, would it really be so hard to have either Din and Jin go, "Oh, we just cast suggestion on him, that way he'll be hallucinating until we snap him out of it," or something like that? Explain what's going on, comic. But anyway, Miles falls off the cliff and dies.
Dang on, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Dang on, the witch is dead, the witch is dead.
Actually, no. He wakes up being his usual whiny, annoying self. Hooray! He questions how he got here and even how he fell off the cliff. Apparently, because Soul Cat demanded it, Miles is now on to have some wacky adventures! And we're off to a rollicking good start as Miles walks into a pointy thing that impales him in the face and he dies.
Dang on, the witch is dead, the witch is dead.
Fuck! Not dead yet. And I'm starting to wonder who I'm referring to with that comment. Me or Miles. Anyway, Miles finds this plane and decides that it's his now because... Fuck it, it's his now, I don't fucking care. And so the next time we see him, he's back on the farm where this doctor teleports in with her very own ghost thing. Now. Am I just retarded, or wasn't Digit kind of special? I know that the mayor of Gossamer had one, but hey, it's the fucking mayor. I can see why he would have one, but why the hell would Mora get one? She's just some chick on a farm. And even more, why does this chick have one too? She's just a doctor. Or rather, she's a junior technician at Amber Industries. Anyway, apparently she is Miles' friend's ex-girlfriend, and Miles having his priorities totally in check, as if the Dr. Tiara is single.
It's more so I don't end up grinding my crutch against the nearest rock that's the least kind of alluring. Did I mention I'm a total shit?
So, Tiara is here to fix Digit, and Miles wants to talk to her, cause he hasn't gotten his dick wet in a while. But Tiara doesn't want to talk with Miles, and who can blame her? In fact, remember the scene where Rachel beats the shit out of Mora and it's one of the best things that has happened to Las Lindas? Well, the next entire page is Tiara shit-talking Miles, calling him out on how huge a dick he is.
And this actually helped me coming up with something. The only way that you could save this thing is if the authors actively tried to just destroy the characters at the end of the comic. Like someone destroying Miles mentally, or someone beating the shit out of Mora till she's nothing but steaks.
We move on to Taffy and Sarah talking. Sarah doesn't want to leave the farm and is fearing that Mora is gonna kick her and Rachel off the farm.
And be more dedicated to our story than our popularity? Bitch, well-written stories don't put food on the table. Oh wait, they do.
Of course no one gets kicked off the farm, and Taffy cheers Sarah up to the point where Sarah asks Taffy to become her new mother. Now, I know what they're going for here. I really do. Taffy has throughout the comic proven to be the most motherly of all the characters, so I can get behind why Sarah would want Taffy to be her mother. Actually, I won't shit on this scene because it's cute, and it could have been done worse. After all, Taffy is one of the few characters that we've seen Sarah socializing with other than Rachel and Mora. What I'm going to bring up, however, is this last frame. Taffy and Sarah is being asked to come to where Tiara is, and we see Taffy leaving a room. Is she leaving the room they were just in? Cause the room they were just in was red, and this room is blue. And Taffy is clearly walking through a door, so is she going into Rachel's room? And the way the frame is made, it kinda makes it seem like it's important, right? Well, it's not. Nothing comes out of this frame. It's unnecessary.
It's so weird that they can have some very good scenes and then some super shitty ones. It's almost like this is what happened when one writer gave the draft to another.
Hey dude, I was thinking, can you give these to Cello so, he can sketch them out? Oh yeah man, sure, no problem. Thanks man, thanks.
Oh man, Mars is going on wacky adventures.
So they boot up Digit. And she's back alive. There's no lasting damage from the incident. It's totally useless. The only thing it does is that it brings Sarah and Digit together in their effort to find Din and Jin and... Okay, hold up. What? No, fuck off. Miles, why the fuck are you mopey? It is because of Digit that you're able to loll around. Shit, now that Digit is back up and running, you can start working on your damn plane or whatever. But oh no, the Dr. Chick doesn't wanna bone you. How tragic. Poor fucking you.
Hey baby, I just won $1 million and I'm basically the most loved superstar in the world. What do you say you come back to my bedroom and make some squeaking noises?
Fuck off, creep. Anyway, Digit is all better and Sarah and her talk it over. Sarah explains that the reason why she threw Digit's router in the well is because Din and Jin told her to. To show that Digit holds no grudge, she immediately jumps at Sarah asking if she can see them too. And so they tell everyone about Din and Jin and get them out of the farm before more damage can...
I know, they don't do that. That would make sense. Just let me fucking dream.
No. Instead, Digit and Sarah are hiding under the bed sheets to come up with a devious plan to get rid of Din and Jin. Digit thinks they're aliens and Sarah thinks they're fairies. This would be funny if we knew what the fuck these things actually were. Also, again, Mora is saying moo here, so she is an actual Anyway, Sarah explains how these things are fairies and that they'll need to go get her books to figure out how to catch these things.
I can come up with a few ways.
So, get this. Digit then goes,
Oh, get real! Flying magical nymphs? And we're going to get their secrets from a game manual? That's too weird to be real.
This is a poorly fucking written universe in which animals talk, there's digitalized ghosts, spaceships, flying wrecking crews, magical bullshit, and actual fans of this comic. And you're gonna start questioning this? This is what weird is.
But you just scratch you little fuck, huh? You little piece of shit, you look like a fucking worm. I better wash you.
Sir, I said it, sir.
Wow. No shit.
So, Digit and Sarah decide to sneak into Taffy's room to get the book and...
I'm good.
So, they find the book and read up on fairies and... No, they read up on muses? But didn't they think these things were fairies? But, oh well, this comic's excuse for a plot demands that we move on. And so do I. So, Sarah explains that the muses can fly and are attracted by beauty and sweetness.
In that case, shouldn't Mora be functioning as a major repellent?
They get caught by Din and Jin and Digit says she'll hold them off. Or what? What the hell can they do? And what's Sarah gonna do in the meantime? So, Digit chases Din and Jin with the sentence, Look out, imps! Here comes Digit!
Okay. Come here. No, it's fine. Come on. Yeah, that's a good... You idiots!
Yes, the scene where Mora says, Here comes Mora was super good, even if we ignore the comic standards. But you constantly now throwing that quote around diminishes the effect it originally had. Now it's no longer someone coming to terms with how they acted before, or a sign of growth. Now it's just...
Catchphrase.
And that's dumb! I didn't even know you could retroactively stomp on your own compliments, but holy hell, here we fucking are! So because the muses can turn corners really well, Digit can't follow, and so she flies through the door. How did she end up in the same room as Din and Jin if the main problem was that she couldn't turn as well to get there? And if that's not the case and the muses instead just flew into a room and were just closing the door, how the fuck can they suddenly do that when they had to ride Sarah into a room earlier? I mean, that's the only logical explanation that was left if they could fly. But the biggest problem is without a doubt that, what? Digit just happens to forget that she could fly through solid matter?
Well, I can't exactly blame her, cause the authors seem to forget that as well!
So Digit continues chasing Din and Jin, and again, let me ask a fairly important question. Why the hell are they fleeing? Didn't Digit and Sarah track down the Dungeons and Dragons book to find some kind of weakness for these little fucks? If that's the case, why are they fleeing and looking so super scared when something that couldn't even be solid matter is threatening to chew on them? Anyway, they fly past Tiara and Maud talking, and Tiara says that she perhaps made a mistake when fixing Digit up, that something must be corrupted due to how she's acting now, and Maud replies,
Nope, you really did fix her. That's our Digit.
Sarah in the meantime has gone into the kitchen to find something sweet, and here she finds some muffins that just so happens to be called fairy cakes. How fucking convenient! We then return to Digit chasing Din and Jin, and here we see our perfect example of what I feel about Shallow's art. Din and Jin decides to transform into how they looked in the D&D book, cause that's more exotic and they fly off. Now, what is not shown is that they apparently create several clones of themselves, and so Digit has to find out which one is real. But tell me, except the explosion here, where is it even hinted at that they multiply? This is my main problem with Shallow's art. It's not bad, and frankly, he's grown to become an amazing artist since the beginning of this comic. But he's a good artist, not a good comic artist. There's a difference. Many things that are essential to understand what's going on are simply dropped on the floor and not shown. Many times you are forced to just guess what is happening, and the most times I've only succeeded in guessing it because of how cliché many of the things in this comic are.
If we return to the analogy that Las Lindas is a ship, Itfox is downstairs trying to scoop out water with a fork, while Cello is upstairs trying to steer the ship to the nearest shore for repairs. And Soulcat, he's skipping around on the ship while drilling holes everywhere.
So, because no one in this comic has a brain, Din and Jin fall for Sarah's obvious trap. Or rather, she wouldn't have to do anything seeing Taffy was already making the cupcakes, but I digress. So, because it would take actual planning and thought to explain how Sarah would manage to catch Din and Jin, we are not seeing it, and we are cutting directly to seeing Sarah having them in a glass jar. Digit and Sarah goes over what they should do with them, and suddenly Itward jumps in. How he figured out that Din and Jin were in danger is never answered, and we are meant to just take it as yet another, because there would be no plot otherwise, exclusion. Itward then feels like he owes Digit, Sarah, and us an explanation.
Oh my god, this cannot Wait, this seems familiar.
I swear, I'm not making this up, but apparently while Itward was searching for more, he ended up on an island where the inhabitants were tricked into believing that he was a deity. Sounds familiar? And for no well-explained reason, Din and Jin just decide to attach themselves to him and help him with everything because he...
I got nothing.
Anyway, a mech, oh yes, comes and tries to take Itward away. How she knew he was on the island and why she would care is a good question that will never be answered once again. It is also explained that the only reason the Muses looks like this is because Itward had come up with them like that in one of his stories. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. Itward forces Digit and the Muses to make up, despite the fact that the Muses almost succeeded in killing several of the inhabitants on the farm. Furthermore, he goes on about how Sarah is such a wonderful person because she didn't straight up kill the Muses. Who's to say she wasn't planning to have them in the glass jar forever and just slowly and periodically yank off Din and Jin's wings? In fact, she still caught the two in the first place. Whether or not she killed them or not really shouldn't be that big of a deal about how great a person she is.
So,
Ready for the most forced bullshit in the world? Mora is seeing Tiara off and wants to give her a basket for her troubles. Tiara wants to help Mora with one last thing and encourages her to say out loud what Digit is to her. Mora then replies,
Digit is my child. I love her.
I honestly thought people were joking.
I did. I really did. How the shit did Mora just decide that now she's Digit's mother? She's a representation of your own soul. Your own mother? What the fuck are you on? And also, I understand that it's supposed to be cute and stuff, but would it really be so much to ask that it also made sense? And it just doesn't work. Have we seen more than, I don't know, 5 pages of Mora and Digit bonding? I could probably get behind on seeing them getting close, but to the extent of creating family? Fuck no! It's the exact same problem with Sarah and Taffy. It's way too forced. And we are almost on our 300th page now. It's not like you haven't had ample time to do this in. I mean, seeing this thing is even jumping so far ahead in time all the time, you could have just thrown in a sentence going, and also, I grew closer with Digit, or something.
It wouldn't be that fucking hard!
We then move on to see Rachel having recovered from almost drowning. I know, it's a wonder the writers even remembered her. But I guess Soulcat has just been jerking himself off lately to the thought of his character now screwing Rachel, as Mora explains that as a punishment, Rachel has to work on the Miles. I gotta admit, I truly adore the fact that they use Miles as a form of punishment. There's removal of teeth, there's cutting out the eyes, and then there's working on the Miles.
If I would had to pick, I would just straight up start to pull my teeth out in a heartbeat.
And so this chapter ends with Mora explaining to Rachel that Minos is off limits and then thanking Rachel for saving Digit. While the rest of us will forever see that as the worst thing Rachel has ever done.
Or, let me rephrase that. That's the worst thing she has done so far.
The things that you conceal, they can't hide you. The things that you reveal, they can't guide you. What you thought was real is just a lie too. If you can't find the truth will find you. The things that you detest are deep inside you. The things that you possess, they only ride you. The words that you confess are just a lie too. If you can't find the truth will find you. We all caught up in it, cause we all brought up in it. The hardship we endure is just a part of living. All the hearts we break, that's just a part of building. All the parts we take, that's just a part of giving. You don't see it, what you see it is hidden. And when they hide it, they don't want no one to find it forbidden. And when they lying, then it's really only truth that they spittin'. If you believe them, then it's really just a lie that's been written. It's kinda hard to try to figure out the science religion, cause all the hate that you sprayin' is really love that's misgiven. And all the love that you craving is just a hateful incision. And when our souls cradle, then it's in a grave or in prison. The state we live in ain't the way we envisioned. When we were babies, there was so many ways we were left wishing. But now the world has been pulled over these eyes that they glisten. And now that glimmer of hope won't even shine in a prism. The things that you conceal, they can't hide you. The things that you reveal, they can't guide you. What you thought was real is just a lie too. If you can't find the truth will find you. The things that you detest are deep inside you. The things that you possess, they only ride you. The words that you confess are just a lie too. If you can't find the truth will find you. Ways of the magic are often painful and tragic. Your final places are wastelands filled with anger and havoc. And all the angels and magic couldn't re-angle the traffic. And this disgrace of a place is left to its demons and addicts. There ain't no way to try to come back from these episodes that leave you lost until you found extra terrestrial. Cause when the human mind is nothing more than vegetables, it's so easy to spray and say there's nothing left of those. That's the point, cause as they grow it, they don't want you to know it. So they dress it up like it's pretty when it's really a rodent. And they make it out to be silly when it's really impotent. And yeah, they call it your partner when it's really your opponent. The things that you conceal, they can't hide you. The things that you reveal, they can't guide you. What you thought was real is just a lie too. If you can't find the truth.
Don't you just love cliffhangers? I know I do. I really don't, but they're great, like story devices. Today's episode has been made possible by a bunch of awesome, amazing, and I really think, really attractive people. First of all, we got Shane Asher. Shane actually made the Strays of Serraria webcomic. I reread it, and you know, you get something from this comic that, you know, I think other comics need. It has this very, very unique personal style to it. You should really go and check it out. Next up we got Alix J with Dev's My Bitch. Have you even, like, did you know that you can actually go online and find it? Just go and look for Fruit Song on DeviantArt and you can actually find a sneak peek on some of these pages. And also, there's a trailer coming out. How about that shit? Next up we got Skidd, who makes the amazing webcomic UberQuest. You guys know that I love the shit out of that. You should really go support it. It's really getting, you know, before it was like wacky adventures, but now it's becoming more than that. It's really great. Next up we got Art Guy. I don't want to try and say out the whole name again because I fucking butchered it last time. Not only did he have a very amazing webcomic coming out, but he is also going to have a podcast that's going to be called Arts of the Web. I suppose it's going to be like a podcast where you can find out different, I don't know, maybe artists or maybe even webcomics online. We'll have to see, but definitely go and support him. He's on Patreon as well. And last but not least, we got David Lillie. I don't think you guys need an introduction to that guy. If you guys want to support the show, you can do so on the Patreon. Just go to www.patreon.com/Riser. I even made a cool new graphic for it, so it is like no confusing it. You can pledge any amount of money that you want. You don't have to. The show will continue nevertheless, but you will get sick loot, like we mentioned here, or like get to sit down with me, or get behind the scenes, or commentary, all that good stuff. So just go on Patreon, have a look, and also like you can set a roof so you never pay too much. Really, that's all for this time. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. It really means a lot to me. You are super amazing people, and frankly, like I've been able to do a lot of stuff now because of it. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next webcomic relief. Take care.